Hello, everyone. Hi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for joining. Today, we have an amazing guest to share his experiences with us. Before I bring him to the screen, I want to talk about a couple of things about our organization. Voice 360 is a non-profit organization based in London, Ontario, Canada, and it is a non-profit organization. Actually, my name is Sivam Velautham, and I am the founder and the president. And Voice 360 is the main focus is the well-being of men and boys. We are also working with International Men's Day. International Men's Day is the um, worldwide NGO, has been working, operating for more than over 25 years around 95 countries around the world. And yeah, and we have an amazing guest, as I said earlier. His name is Wade Simmons. Um, he's an entrepreneur and filmmaker and artist, of course, and we kind of know him about more. So thank you, Wade, for joining today. It is a pleasure to have you, man.
Thank you. I'm excited about being here. I'm super excited.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I do have a couple of questions, but I want to start probably your turning point. Who is Wade? Can you give us a little bit some information? Where did you start your life, man?
Sure. My name is Wade Simmons. I am from Chicago, Illinois. I'm 33 years old. I'm an independent filmmaker, also a funeral service worker, and I also did a little bit of pro wrestling training. But again, I'm from Chicago. I'm an artist. I'm a creative person, and I've had a lot of great father figures in my life, such as my grandfather Walter, my grandfather Hubert, as well as my own father, Wade Simmons Sr. And so, yeah, that's me. I had a really cool upbringing. My father is pretty firm. My grandfather, both of my grandfathers were pretty firm, but I come from a pretty solid foundation. From men who believed in raising their family and just instilling good values in us. But yeah, that's me.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, thanks a lot. So um, I know you really wanted to become a filmmaker, and the two industries is one is the most influenced, I would say. One is the entertainment industry. So why do you want to become a film maker and also funeral director? So it is a little bit totally a different field. So can you talk about that, please?
Sure, yeah, that's a great question. So as a child, I always knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a funeral director, and I wanted to be a filmmaker. I grew up watching a lot of movies. I was a very big fan of like Spike Lee and George Lucas, who made Star Wars. And like I don't know, it was just something about it that seemed pretty cool. Like just using your imagination to create things and being able to like share your voice with the world in a positive way. And like what I really liked about George Lucas was like his movies were very different from most things. Like he dealt with a lot of things that like other films were just kind of to me like more superficial, but like he took things that like go on like in religion and government and things of that nature and kind of build this beautiful story about the force. And so that kind of really inspired me to kind of like want to take that route of being a filmmaker. As far as being a funeral director, as a child, I went to a lot of funerals. I don't know. It was just something about it that drew me to it, and I'm like, you know what? I think this is something that I would want to do because you get to help people, you get to bring people together, like because like even though like funerals, of course, can be a sad occasion, you get to see families come together, and like I think one of the things that I really enjoy about that is like, you are able to really talk to people, get to know people, get to find out about people's life, kind of like being a filmmaker, right? Like it's all storytelling, but I really just enjoy like, bringing people together and just seeing people connect and talk about memories and things of that nature. So that's kind of what drew me to it.
Well, I can understand. I read your bio. Like you love storytelling, so it connects every dot. Like filmmaking. But I also want to touch a little bit on that funeral director, because the thing is, you said, of course, some ways, somewhere in your childhood, it's influenced, but it is very important, because at those days or those times, when somebody or a family, or even a lot of people in that moment, you actually guide them, you help them, right? So it is very important, man. Thank you for being there for them, for
Yeah.
everybody. Well, let's move on the other side. The films. Can you talk about some of your films, maybe one or two? What you have been doing, and then any future films that you are working on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So right now, I'm currently working on a documentary. I did mention that I trained for pro wrestling about, oh, it's been almost 5 years ago now, but I did train for pro wrestling for about 2 years. And I decided that I wanted to make a documentary. That's actually what led me into it. And so I'm currently just trying to finish up that documentary, but I do have a web series called Love Always Wins. It's a short series of narrative shorts, which a lot of them are like visual poems. And how that came about was because when I went to mortuary school, like I was struggling to pass this exam and all that good stuff. And so I ended up enrolling like in film school. And so what I did was like I ended up making a short film about me struggling in mortuary school, but it ended up turning into my web series Love Always Wins. So I've been working on that series now probably almost about 9 years. So they're just like a bunch of shorts. At first they were like more narrative type, but then they ended up turning into like visual poems. And then literally yesterday I just shot one of the last episodes of my new web series, which is going to be called Together. So I make a lot of films more. They're more like visual poems because I also like writing poetry. I think poetry is like really like a fun way of telling stories. So yeah, that's what I've been working on.
Thanks a lot, man. Thank you. Thanks a lot. So let's talk about. I just want to move to the social side, or the on the community side. So, how do you feel based on your experience, man? How do you feel talking about Black men's mental health so far? Uh, you know, in your neighborhood or from your friends and the community, is it have they talked about it enough? About the services and other areas. Can you share your
Oh,
experiences?
that's a beautiful question too. Actually, yes. So black mental health, or all mental health, first of all, is important, but especially being a black American male, I think sometimes it's something that it's being talked about more because I think this like generation now is a lot more open to talking about a lot of these things. But I think for me, especially being somebody in a funeral business who have seen a lot of people who have died from suicide and drug issues and things of that nature. So to me, I think that it is very important to expound more and just let people know that like we all go through things, and I think like it's important to push these type of things in the community because there are a lot of people out here that are hurting and people who have, trauma from their youth and things of that nature. So I think it's very important to talk about that because a lot of times, again, from being in the funeral business, you see things a lot of times when it happens too late, like a 22-year-old or 18-year-old, or even a 10-year-old who have taken their own life due to suicide when the person could have gotten help. So I'm a very strong advocate for mental health awareness and just being able to let people know that hey, we all go through things and we can all be a better help to one another. But and I think it's really good to do that. Like just the other day, one of my former co-workers from the funeral home, sometimes if she gives me a call, I may go over to her crematory, and sometimes I go over there to just be a helping hand. And we went over there to do a job, and then we ended up just talking about black men's mental health and things about what we all were going through, and we ended up going over there to work, and we ended up spending like almost an hour and a half just talking about life and just encouraging one another. So yeah, it's very important.
No, that's what I want to really touch on that because I wanted to bring that topic suicide because it's very very important, especially in the Black community. Of course, generally speaking, all communities, but look at the ratio. Doesn't matter in Canada or anywhere else, but also Black communities is suffering a lot because of
Yeah,
the suicide, especially within the men's world, right? So especially the young men. So one thing is that the one you're talking about. Sometimes you had to face the reality, right? It is not easy to talk about that, especially at the funeral services. But you open the space, and then you are doing such an amazing job, man. Thanks a lot. So that's recently I come across probably one or two deaths. It's a young man too, so it is very hard to. It's not really suicide, but it's part of it. But it's really hard to take it.
absolutely.
Um, on the same question, man, like I want to ask, why is it important for men to come forward and talk about their emotional challenges, man?
Oh, that's a great question. Actually, because first of all, again, everything that we go through, somebody else been through it before. And a lot of times when people face certain issues, people feel like, oh man, like this is it's not gonna work out, or I'm dealing with so much. But a lot of times you'll be surprised that like you have a lot more in common than you think with people. And even me, like I've had issues in life, and then when I've talked to some of the older people in my life who are like now like 75 and in their 80s, and some even 90, a lot of times they'll tell me like when I was young, maybe times were different, but I went through a similar situation. And we'll be surprised because one thing we know about life, right, is like everybody has challenges, but I think it's a human thing to just kind of in love, just as neighbors, just one to another, just like hey man, if I can do anything to help you, then just let me know. If you can do anything to help me, then let me know. So I just think like a lot of it is just being willing to be there for somebody, and just taking the time out to check on people. Because I know again, like in this time we live in now, we got so much social media and things that kind of occupy time, but there are a lot of people out here hurting, and so I think that it's really just important to just check in with people and just make sure they're all right, and just we all can be helpers to one another, but it starts with just having a heart full of love.
Um, Yeah, at the end of the day, we are very ordinary people, right? So we have to we should be able to help each other. Like I said, everybody goes tough times and ups and downs. There's no right or wrong, right? But
Yeah,
the problem is that people say, or in the community, it's a taboo topic, or even the stigma and everything. So nobody is well in a busy life. So everybody is running, and then nobody is looking after themselves. Also others too, right? So
yeah,
it is very important check with them and then see what's going on, right? Because see, you don't know and I don't know, and nobody knows like who is watching on the other end, but somebody is waiting for the message, just maybe one word or one line, or maybe the whole conversation can save some lives. You never know, right?
yeah. You know what? And it's amazing that you said it because just I think like about 2 weeks ago, there was some gentleman working on the house, and this gentleman again, he's like 70. They were doing a roofing job for us, and he was just telling me about one day how he was having a rough day, and this a little girl that don't even know him, walked up to him and said, "I love you." And he was just like, that really made his day. And then to your point too, like I said the other day, I was doing some work with a former coworker, and we were just over there talking with her son, and him and one of my other friends that work with me, they got to talking about a similar life situation that they were going through. And then I spent the hour with them two just talking. And, it kind of felt good for them to just kind of get, some things off their chest. So, yes, I think that everybody needs somebody to talk to, because a lot of times you'll be surprised a lot of times some people are going through the same exact situation.
And one more thing I want to point out, or maybe it's kind of like a kind request. Maybe you can do little more at the funeral services than whenever you come across any situations. Of course, it's not that you cannot really insist, but it is possible that you can have a simple words like you can talk to the audience, or you can talk to those people, crowd, talk about men's mental health, at least couple of minutes, or you can encourage others to talk about, right? Because no, either the person, whoever is in the casket, or the family members, or somebody relatives, you never know, right? So it's very important to talk about in those moments, right? I also want to ask you, what does open up mean to you, Wade?
I'm sorry, can you repeat it? I'm sorry.
What does open up mean to you?
Also, open up. Well, so what that means to me is it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be transparent. I think a lot of times people are more afraid to share things, but you never know. Sometimes, again, like, we think that some of the worstest things that could have happened to us maybe are like, shameful or whatever. But I think a lot of times that open up, like what it really means is that, like, it's just being more willing to be transparent, and just because you're looking at it like, instead of just holding things in sometimes, it's kind of better to release it, because again, a lot of times when you release things, that at least for me, that I've been through, I find that a lot of times in those times that it ends up actually helping another person. And so I think that it's actually key, because a lot of times, like, if you hold on to things, right, it can cause stress and things of that nature. And we know that stress can affect you in different ways. Like with myself a couple of years ago, I was holding on to like a lot of things, and then I ended up developing a vocal disorder called spasmodic dysphonia. And it was like for some years, I'm like, my voice is straining when I get really stressed and tense. But when I started to realize that I had something in my life that was causing me stress, and I walked away from it, it went away. And so it's just one of them things where, like, now I open up and I tell people about it, because again, like, I know how stress affected me. I wouldn't want it to happen to anybody else. So the things that we go through, to me, it's very important to open up, because again, you never know who you're helping, and you're not only helping yourself, but you're helping your fellow man or your fellow sister. So I think that that's a really powerful and unique thing to be able to do that.
Yeah, because you went through some situations, and some people, not all of them, but some people, they don't want to talk about it. But at the same time, when you see someone else is going through, and then you start helping them, and then through that, you will be healed. You can heal yourself, right? So it
Absolutely.
is absolutely important, though. Since you are a film maker, I want to ask you this question, though. Like, what do you think, man? Like, how do you think there's enough films or documentary out there about men's mental health, or we need to do more? In what way, or what kind of films or documentary you would say, what we need to do more?
Oh, that's a great question. Actually, I think that I would like to see more. I haven't really seen a lot, but I think that those type of documentaries will be far more relatable, because, especially in this time we live in, right? If you notice now, like with social media, a lot of more people, I think one of the reasons why a lot of even YouTube videos gets a lot of views, because a lot of them they're more relatable. And it's more about people who you can actually connect with, who are sharing things that they been through and things of that nature. So I think, yes, it would be nice to see a lot of more documentaries, you know, done about like mental health awareness and things of that nature, because I think that, even in our darkest stories, right? I think that, the light part about it is that, it can be a blessing to somebody else to kind of let them know, okay, like I went through this too, and this is how I came out of it. Maybe it happens differently for you, but, just letting people know that there's hope. I think that's a powerful thing. So, yes, I think I would like to see lots more documentaries done on things of that nature.
Absolutely. Whoever is watching, or even in the same field, they can do more. Even new faces. I'm talking about the younger generation who are entering into this field. It can be film or entertainment in some ways, or even journalism. Absolutely, we need to see more and more. So this way, the public can be educated, or like we can make more awareness, so we can save more lives. So actually,
Yeah,
because every single second and minute we are losing a lot of lives. If you look at the ratio, suicide, 70, 80% around the world is men. So it's absolutely, and between 19 and 25 age, young men they are losing their lives. So it's very, very important. It's very critical nowadays. Um, so the other thing I want to ask is that, let's talk about your father and son. Some of those memories. Can you share those days, man?
yeah. So I have a lot of, fun memories with my father growing up. I mean, my dad, he's still out, living his life doing the good thing. But for the most part, like I have a lot of, memories with my dad, just kind of, going to visit him, and because him and my mom, they did split when we were younger, but it was just fun. Like, anytime I would go with my dad and we would go over there and hang out. And my dad, he's an artist, so he draws. So we spent a lot of time like drawing together, making up cartoon characters and things of that nature, and putting stories together, and just things with that nature. And then as far as my grandfathers, I remember my grandfather Hubert. He actually took us fishing when we were younger. He ended up passing away when I was in, I think I might have been like in seventh grade, but I remember like going fishing with him. But my grandfather Walter, he's been in my life since I was a little child also, and he passed away just back in January. But I have a lot of fond memories with him, even like going to college and getting up early in the morning to go to school and riding to the city with him, and just talking about life and laughing, and always giving me advice. And so my from my dad and both my grandparents, like that's, I kind of had the greatest experience. And then too, I come from a really big family, because like on my mother's side of the family, my grandmother's mother had 14, and then my grandmother's mother, who I also knew because I come from a big family, she had quite a few children too. So it's like I come from a really big family, so I had like multiple male figures in my life and things. And even my uncle Willie from Arizona, like he's up here now, like I get advice from him. So I've been very blessed. Like I've had a lot of great figures in my life.
I
But
can I can see that. I can sense that you have a lot of great male figures. Absolutely, you are blessed. Somebody out there, or some people, they don't have, right. Maybe they have conflicts, or say they have bad experiences,
yeah,
bad life situations. But it is what it is, right?
yeah,
So, what I want to ask is that I want to take you back to the funeral services, though. So, of course, in the past number of years, when you are in the industry, and then when you are doing services, and then you come across with a lot of different death situations, right? So um, how do you handle, at the end of the day, of course, you are running, and then you are working, and then coming home, and sometimes it's very hard to digest some of the things what's going on, or but it's really bad situation, or really you cannot take it. But as a funeral director, you had to do your service, right? But when you come back, when you come home, and then when you take it from there, how do you manage your you know coming back to a normal how do you handle your mind and everything?
So for me, I really just like always come home with an attitude of being grateful. And that's a great question. I kind of just like when a lot of times when I leave work or when I, get through doing whatever I'm doing at work, I just always remember like, what, like, this is life, and life is a precious gift. And so I always try to focus on the bright side of things, like, because one thing I learned about for me is that I learned to like never take any moment for granted. And when I think about life that way, that helps me to just focus on things that bring me joy. Like a lot of times I write, I do a lot of writing. I sing for fun. I use my imagination, create different characters and write scripts. And, I just focus on being creative. And like a lot of times I think for me, like being creative is kind of really been my greatest outlet, because even when I was going through the situation with my vocal disorder, like a lot of times when I was stressed, my voice would just sound terrible. But then when I was focused on being creative and just making stories and making characters, like it's like it went away. None of that stuff really mattered. So I focus more on being creative. That kind of helped me balance it out.
Absolutely, I can see that as an artist, you come across, or you use your imagination and creativity to heal yourself. Absolutely. That's what I want to ask you. So, tell me a couple of techniques, or some simple techniques, to just for an ordinary man. You know what? I have a rough day, and then how can I come out from those moments, those challenges?
Well,
Can you share
oh
some
yeah.
techniques, man?
Well, well, for me, first of all, I am a man of faith. I do a lot of praying. I always just ask my heavenly Father just to just help me to get through the day. But also along with that, I do a lot of reading. I love writing. I like writing and just kind of writing my thoughts down and just, taking the things of life that kind of got me down and just, you know, changing it and just kind of writing my own story to it. Like kind of always looking to turn every negative into a positive. And so for me, I always try to focus, like, because I always say, like, all of us, again, like I go through things too, but my most important thing is like whenever I go through things, I just try to just sit down and analyze it. Like I think analyzing every situation is very important, because a lot of times when you analyze a situation, you can figure out a way to overcome it, right? Because all of us have obstacles in life, and no matter how hard it is, all of us have obstacles. So if it's a situation that's in my power to fix, a lot of times I analyze it. And once I analyze it, I try to take like sometimes small steps to fix it. And if it's something that just I just really can't fix or whatever, then I just a lot of times if I need help, I just ask for it. Like that's what anybody that know me will tell you. I'm not shy. I'm not shy at all for asking for help.
Absolutely, man. Thanks a lot. Thank you for sharing. I just displaying your email address and the Instagram ID, and of course, your films are on Vimeo. So people, you guys can go and check it out. At the same time, if you guys want to contact him, reach out to him, please do so. So it's a great pleasure to have you. Um, what I want to finish with, though, is that what message, or yeah, especially from your point of view, what message you want to shout out for men out there who are going through some tough times.
I would say let's start building more support groups, because support groups are very important. I think that a lot of times it involves taking initiative. And I think as men, we do have to start taking initiative, because there are some things that won't happen unless we step up. And again, in our communities, none of our communities have to be the way that they are if we all step up and come together in love and be helpers to one to another. And I know that that's easier said than done, but it is possible. And so I think it just starts with just out of love, just being able to bring people together and just try to find out a way how we can be helpers one to another. I think it starts even with just a small step. So I think this is very important just to let people know, like, hey man, I don't know necessarily what you're going through, but I know that we all been through things. But if we build up a strong team of men who can kind of be helpers one to another and would have each other backs, or if this person fall down, we can pick them up, or if this person is struggling financially, we can all come together as brothers and help one another. Like, it's not impossible. It just starts with somebody just believing that it can be done and putting in the right measures to make it happen.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So thanks a lot for coming on and then sharing this. It's very, very personal, but at the same time, it's very helpful. People can see from different view or different aspects, so they can understand certain things, right? Because you never know, because our mind is always blocking this and that, and then we stay within the circle, and then we don't want to go out, or we don't want to
Yeah.
break the barrier, right? But it is very important. At least sometimes we had to listen some people's words, or at least their experiences, or their life journeys, because it can teach so many things, man. Really, especially the one I always wonder, or even create you know I would say empathy, but at the same time, it's great to see people who are working in the funeral services, because you guys are dealing death on a regular basis. So it is very, very important how you guys are serving, and how you guys are helping families and people. Man, it's very important. Thanks a lot again, once again, Wade, for coming on and sharing your experiences, man. Thank you.
Oh, anytime. And whenever and like I said, I'm gonna stay in contact with you too, because I like the work that you're doing, and I commend you for that. And I think that that's very important. So I want to also celebrate and thank you, because again, any other man out here that's you know taking the courage just to bring brothers together and just realize, like, hey, we can be helpers one to another. So I commend you for that, brother. Like, I hope you keep that fire burning, and I got your back.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's like I said earlier, you never know, we never know who is listening on the other end. They can see some sort of light in their mind, and then they can change the direction. That's the one thing that we want to create a space, especially for men, so they can come and they can share the emotional challenges and life experiences. So somebody else can say change their mindset, and they can change their lifestyle too. Thanks a lot again, once again. Thank you everyone for watching, and then continuously please support us. Thank you.
Anytime.
So dear viewers, thank you guys for your continuous support, and you can go on our platform, Voiceover 360. It is on YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Voiceover 360, and also on Facebook. We have a page and also group. Please join us, and whoever is willing to share your life journey, life experiences. It can be just a one word, one line, or your whole journey. It can help. It can change some positive impact in somebody's life. So you can reach out to us at info@voiceoven360.org. There's no limitations or ethnic groups, or gender, or anything. Anyone can join, and they you can share your life journey. Thank you. See you next time. Thank you.